Nothing we say is investment advice. Please pause on all 3 pages of this disclaimer and read it.
Good morning, everybody. Cowboy here, and it is Tuesday, September 30th, 8:30 a.m., and we're taking a look at Bitcoin right now, and we're at the big question as to whether or not this is going to continue up. So let me go ahead and hide this for the moment so we can get a clear look at what's going on with the price action, because that at this point is what matters. Okay, so Bitcoin moved up. Nice move up going back to Sunday, 109,000 all the way up to 114,000. And what Bitcoin does, as any asset does, is it tends to head towards liquidity. And there's a fair amount of liquidity just based on chart consolidation up in this area, right? And that's just your typical look at where prices moved back and forth quite a bit. And you can see there's liquidity up there. Another way to do that would be to take a look at in the most relevant liquidity using a fixed range. And a lot of crypto traders use this the wrong way. But the reality is price is attracted to these nodes where you see this volume coming out where price went back and forth a lot, right? Well, price certainly went up to that area, but we have a special tool with crypto, right? And that's the Kingfisher.io. And I pulled this liquidity map just less than a half hour ago. And you can see these spikes right here. So let me see if I can maximize this screen for you. Looks like this is the best we're going to do. There we go. It's a little help there. And you can see there's a, whoa, I hate when that happens. I had to order a new mouse. My mouse is all wonky. A lot of liquidity sitting at 11,400 now. It was a little higher earlier, but it's essentially the same area. So really it's 11,400 is a hard spike. And then you have a bit up here around the 116,000 area, right? And this changes all the time. What this is, excuse me, well, I have a little allergies, pardon. What this is looking at the leveraged exchanges and where price will liquidate. And so price tends to head towards those areas. It's a different type of liquidity. It's actually liquidations is what it is. And you have a big spike right here at 11.5. You have a decent amount, but right around 116, but the spike's at 11.5. So if we were to map that out, 11,500, big spike right about here, right in this area. And around it, there's some liquidity. And then up at 115, where do we have it here? Let's see. 116 to 116 and a half. There's a little bit up there, right? But what matters is price must want to go in that direction before this liquidity matters. And as it stands right now, price seems, let's look at the algos here. I think there's a little bit of bullishness left in this move. And I think that what's going to happen here is price is going to go sideways until it makes a decision. As it stands, price rejected. Now, this was a nice move up. And this liquidity up here, this chart liquidity was tapped. You can see it here. It did touch this area, grab liquidity to head down. Then you have liquidations up here and below, a lot more in this little sliver, right? You have a strong spike right there. And of course, to look at that, there's a little bit of support that price is starting to touch right about here. Let me change this here. So this little consolidation right there does provide some support, and in the past as well, but most of what matters is right here. So price may just kind of wag back and forth until it makes a decision. But the closer it comes to this area, the more likely it's going to touch that area. So price really could come down to this area, right? We'll see about it. But as it stands right now, I mean, it might be that a little bit of a range develops in here and then price makes a decision. And as that happens, we'll see if these liquidations kind of stay where they are. It might be the price jumps down to grab this liquidation and then continues to go sideways. It does seem that we have a pretty strong support sitting at about 108, 107. So if price were to continue down, I don't think price would break below that. I mean, it could. It's possible. I just don't think it will based on the current data. Now, as price moves around, I'll have more data, right? But as it stands, I think we're going to get sideways, possible dip down to this 111.5 that we just talked about. And then after that, really, if that happens, after that, we'll see where that goes, right? So just going to have to kind of watch this. We also have data coming out today, and that's at 10 a.m. EST, and that can affect everything as well. So that can push price in one direction or another. It's jobs data, and if it's way, way off the mark, way off the estimate here of 7.19 million, if it's like 5 or 9, then that could really throw things off, right? If the actual data is roughly the same as the estimate, then it probably won't do too much. Maybe add a little volatility. But for now, price made a strong move back into liquidity area, into a prior range area, and there's a decent chance it's just going to range and it might dip down to grab that liquidity. So that's what Bitcoin's doing. Not a lot of exciting things to report right now, but that's how it goes. You get an exciting day and then a not exciting day, right? You get this exciting day here, and then you have a not so exciting day or two, and then an exciting day, and then not so exciting days, right? That's just markets. Inside days, outside days. So it might end up with some inside. We'll see. So that's Bitcoin as a whole right now. It does have enough bullishness on kind of the daily time frame to stay in this area, if not go a little higher. But what used to be a lot of liquidity up here has dried up a bit as people have covered their shorts. So price doesn't have as much reason to head up there as it used to. And that's what there is to be understood about that. I'm going to take a brief look at Solana since we're on crypto. Looks like Solana is back kind of at the top of its range. I thought it would head down. It went down a little more quickly than I thought. But again, these types of predictions are not gospel, right? I just say, hey, this is a general idea. I don't trade based on these, but they're a general idea of what's going to happen. Now, I mean, depending on Bitcoin, again, this was all dependent on Bitcoin doing a similar thing, going sideways and eventually up, right? So that might still be the case. In fact, price at this very moment is pretty much right where, at least on the line where I thought it would be, more or less. But let's take a look at the actual data here and see how Solana is shaping up. Yeah, the one thing Solana has to deal with is this weekly, need to reset, right? Let me add on the monthly just to see what it says. The monthly's got a fair amount of bullishness left. So yeah, I think just based on this data and based on, Bitcoin doing what it's doing, maybe something like this, it might be more like it hangs out here and then heads up. But again, that's all going to depend on Bitcoin. Bitcoin will dictate this. And by the way, what I drew goes like way out to next year. It might be much more quick than this. It might, you can compress this move and it happens over a month or something like that. October tends to be more bullish for cryptocurrency, right? September tends to be a little bit bearish, October bullish. So we'll see what happens. Also, it's the end of the month close, and I think it's the end of the quarter close, right? October, November, December. So we are watching markets have to deal with the fact that the quarter is closing. Not that the calendar quarter is as important as one might think. It's oftentimes more important to look at options closing, and we just had the triple witch a week or two ago. But the point is that the calendar is closing, the quarter is closing. Anybody watching the candles print is going to watch how it goes today. So today really is kind of a dangerous day to trade, being the last day of the month. Is tomorrow the 1st? I believe it is. 30 days has November, April, June, and December. I just want to be sure about that. Well, I got a calendar right in front of me here. Let's see what the let's fix that. Okay, so just go to this here. Okay, yeah, so it's the end of the month. Today's probably not the wisest day to trade anything. Like as far as trading, I mean, you might be able to catch a scalp, false moves or something like that. But today's pretty dangerous for as trades go. We'll keep it crypto this morning. I'll take a look at Ethereum. Ethereum's still in a very important range. Let me go to a higher time frame so we can take a look at this like from a higher perspective. Not to say that if Ethereum goes much lower than this, it's game over. I would be a little concerned if Ethereum went below 3,300, but as long as it's in this range up here, a breakout of Ethereum is fair game. And we have a little bit of a deviation right here where price dipped out of that range. And to be fair, the range really looks like this. So you had this dip out and it's right back in. So Ethereum is holding up. Again, it will be dependent on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin just for whatever reason the bull market's over and that's it, then Ethereum will probably drop. I never have seen any crypto continue up when the bull ends, but I'm noticing a lot on the weekly chart that a lot of these cryptos, they have bullishness on the monthly, but they need to reset on the weekly. And of course, that's going to reflect the way that Bitcoin looks. Bitcoin's actually a little bit harder to read than a lot of these other cryptos, which is in a way an advantage to looking at the other cryptos, right? So the other cryptos can kind of give you a clue as to where the market is with that. So I think we will end it here as far as the public show goes. We're going to go over to the private live lab. Look, get your free algo link is in the description. We also will let you know when we're doing more live trading. We had a great live trading session a week and a half ago, and we're going to have that individual come back. And of course, if I find a trade during these shows, I'll take it. So there's always that whole live trading aspect to these shows, but we will do it for an hour or two for everybody to see. We won't flip to the live lab when we do that. And that might be this Thursday. I need to talk to our guy Mick and see if he's going to be around this week. We got a couple other guys who are also interested in that. So thank you for watching. Remember, we teach people how to build algorithms. We teach people how to trade like a hedge fund pro, right? The whole idea is to predict where price is going to go, use that data to extract money from the market on a regular basis. It's a measured approach. It's really data science is what it is. So we teach it, and it's really not that complex. So come on over algofactory.tech. We'll see you mañana iguana, 8:30 a.m. EST. Thank you for watching. Never forget.
Join us or die.
Just kidding. You're not going to die. We love you. See you tomorrow.